Hi, welcome to part 2 of Questioning the Majority. Today we'll be talking about how to overcome 2 different cognitive biases so we can become better independent thinkers. These biases are the bandwagon effect and groupthink. We've all jumped on the bandwagon of something that started to become popular. Diets, music, artists, sports teams, or hating on a certain political figure. I know you're guilty. Social media challenges are a good example of this. One of the new challenges on the internet right now is called the Base Pro Challenge, where people will go into the Base Pro shop and jump into the fish tank, which is illegal by the way, and some of the participants have been caught and penalized for their actions. As human beings, we find identity within our society by establishing ourselves with one of these groups, even if it doesn't exactly match up with who we are. And this is a phenomenon known as the bandwagon effect. When we are affected by the bandwagon effect, or groupthink, we allow ourselves to be swept up into emotions and behavior that doesn't necessarily belong to us. We love being a part of a group that picks us up and gives us a cause to rally behind and makes us feel better about ourselves. A good example of this was the GameStop short squeeze in January of this year, 2021, when there were some hedge fund guys that bet that GameStop would fail in a way that would make them money. But a group of Redditors band together and bought a bunch of GameStop shares with the intent to overpower these hedge fund guys. They got so many other Redditors to jump on that bandwagon and buy shares of GameStop that they caused this hedge fund to lose 50% of their investments, and they were on the brink of bankruptcy. So this bandwagon effect is not necessarily a bad thing in most cases, but we need to be aware of it because it can cause a lot of problems. When we're on a bandwagon, it affects our rational thinking. We jump to conclusions and we may harm innocent people, like Olivia did in 2015. Olivia was a student at CMC whose parents were immigrants from Mexico to California before she was born. While attending the university, she wrote an essay about her feelings on marginalization and exclusion. She felt that Latinos weren't properly represented among the professional staff, and she suggested in her essay that there was a typical type of person at her college and she was not it. So the dean, in response to her essay, she sent Olivia a private email. Here's the email, I will put it on the screen. It says, "Olivia, thank you for writing and sharing this article with me. We have a lot to do as a college and community. Would you be willing to talk with me sometime about these issues? They are important to me and the staff, and we are working on how we can better serve our students, especially those who don't fit our CMC mold. I would love to talk with you more. Best, Dean Spellman." This email showed that the dean was showing concern and offering to listen and support Olivia. However, Olivia was offended because the dean used the word mold to describe her. She felt that it implied that Olivia was indeed an outsider that didn't belong on campus, which justified her thoughts and feelings and beliefs about herself. So Olivia let her emotions get the best of her, and she decided to post this email on Facebook with the caption, "I just don't fit that wonderful CMC mold. Feel free to share." And of course, her friends shared. And the campus erupted in protest. There were marches, demonstrations, demands given to the president for mandatory diversity trainings, and demands that the dean resign. 2 students even went on a hunger strike, refusing to eat until the dean was gone. A group of students also formed a circle and spent over an hour yelling and airing their grievances to the staff. Spellman apologized for her poorly worded email and told the crowd that she only had good intentions of listening and supporting her students, but her apology was not accepted, and the hatred and escalating anger of the students amplified on social media and eventually forced Dean Spellman to resign. I think this is tragic. There's nothing wrong in gathering in protest and demanding change. There is, however, something very wrong with jumping on the bandwagon, not knowing exactly what you're demanding, and hurting innocent people as a result. Everyone has the ability to educate themselves on the fundamentals of what is being protested. Don't just jump on the bandwagon without taking time to learn why. Chances are, once you fully understand the situation, you might not even care to change it. And if you do find reasons for demanding the change compelling enough, then please, respectfully and peacefully, make yourselves heard. As I said before, there isn't anything wrong with demanding change, but there is something very disturbing about harming innocent people because of ignorant protests. Fear is one of the most common reasons that people align with the majority and jump on the bandwagon. If our mind is not clouded by fear, we tend to think more clearly and logically. We're less likely to follow others blindly if our decisions are based on proper reasoning. People that jump on the bandwagon tend to override their own beliefs in order to attain an agreement on a particular issue, which usually results in harmful outcomes or hate crimes against people. So we need to become more independent thinkers. However, Since we develop most of our beliefs and our thought processes from our parents and our upbringing, it is nearly impossible to make decisions completely and remotely based on our own understanding and cognition. In general, there's always a certain dependence on others while making a decision. So, here are some tips to recognize when you are falling victim to negative groupthink. Number 1, if you find yourself feeling that your group can do no wrong, red flag. Number 2, you ignore and make excuses for the red flags of the group, red flag. 3, those who are opposed to your group are seen as stupid or non-believers, traitors, or disloyal, red flag. Number 4, you are criticized for offering opposing ideas, so you self-censor. You know, silence is regarded as a unanimous agreement. So here's some tips to avoid this bias. Number 1, explore different scenarios and opinions. Number 2, encourage questions and different ideas and critical evaluation. Number 3, invite outside expert opinions and allow the group members to speak with the experts individually and privately. And number 4, find someone who can deliberately play the role of devil's advocate. Even if you do agree with a group's opinions or ideals, it does not mean that you need to join in on inappropriate activities such as vandalizing, burning public property, or defaming or ruining someone's reputation. Thanks for watching my part 2 of Questioning the Majority. I hope you liked it. If you do, please like and comment below, subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos. And if you have any stories or questions for me, you can email me at stories@lifeenvisioned.com.